number of citations divided by the number of years since publication. For each and every publication, you have to calculate. If you do so, you can find out HA index of each and every author. Okay, for example, here, this H index I calculated. Here, I am calculating normalized citation count based on the years of publication. In the previous case, I used number of authors. In this case, I am using number of years of publication. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the calculation method is same for the previous index. That is normalized individual H index and this particular HA index. Both are same, but the one which you are using a denominator, that differs between these two metrics. Okay, fine. If you are using POP software, just go and try. POP software provides you all these metrics. H index, G index, H1 normalized, H1 annual, HA index, all these are available in published or Paris software. Good. Then comes, there is software called HG index, which was proposed by Alonso and others. Very simple index. You find out the H index of an individual. You find out the G index of an individual. You multiply both. Whatever answer you get, you find out the square root of these two. To put in a very simple term, you find out the geometric mean of H index and G index. That is called as this new index called HG index. For example, you take the first author, H index is 25, G index is 38. I have multiplied both the numbers. I got 950. You find out the square root of 950. That is 30.82. That is called HG index value of that particular author, because here we take both H index and the G index and we find out the geometric mean. Good. Then comes C index. See, let us not worry about citations. Why should we always take citation into consideration for the purpose of building some indexes? Is there any index where citation is not the tool for measuring the research impact, but some other items are considered? This C index is one such index, which was proposed by Somnath Chattopadhyaya and others. So here they say, you have to give weightage to the collaboration standard of an individual. See, if you are publishing a paper with an author from another continent, you get one rank, one value for your paper. So you are publishing a paper, the other author is not from other continent, but he's from other country. Then you'll get a weightage of 0.7. So you publish a paper, both the authors are from the same country, but they are from two different institutions, then you can give 0.3 weightage for every paper. If there is a paper wherein both the authors are from the same institution, you give only 0.1 weightage. So by giving such allotting weightage like this, you can find out the C index of individuals. This is what Chattopadhyaya proposed a few years before. Then comes, along with this C index, Chattopadhyaya has added one more flavor. That means you can give weightage to the quarter of the journal wherein the author has published research papers. See, I might have published only one paper in quarter 1 journal. The other fellow might have published 5 papers in quarter 4 journal. Do you think that both are same? Both can be till same part? No. Quarter 1 is a very high quality journal. Quarter 4 is the approaching quality increasing journal. So this author says, you find out in which quarter journal the author has published. If you are publishing a paper in quarter 1 journal, top 25% of above science scopus, you give one weightage for every research paper. If you publish a paper in Q2, you get 0.75. If you publish a paper in Q3, only 0.50. If you publish it in Q4, only 0.25. Just multiply, get the answer. So, apart from citations, they propose 2 other measurement mechanisms. One is, what is the extent of your collaboration? The other is, in what quarter journal you publish your research paper. Fine. This is a kind of a different perspective from Dr. Chattopadhyaya. Let me come back. There's something called the BH index, which was proposed by one Yana Bharati of Chennai. He has proposed this index. Let me see how this index works. It's very simple. So for example, it's an example. There's an author with the 10 papers, and these are the citations received by him for all 10 papers. Say I'm calculating his H index, it is 6. Okay, very simple. H is 6. Now, after calculating his H index, I am going to double his H index to get the geometrical sequence. 6, 6 into 2, 12, 12 into 2, 24, 24 into 2, 48, 48 into 26, 96 into 2, 192. Okay, based on the H index, you double H index every time. You keep on multiplying the numbers by 2, you get the geometric sequence. After getting the geometric sequence, you form the class frequency. See, 6 to 11, first class, and 12 to 23, next class, 24 to 47, third class. This way, you form the frequency. Now, we are going to give weightage to each and every frequency. If a paper is getting 192 to 383 citations, you give 6 points. If there is a paper with only 6 to 11 citation, you give only 1 weightage. That means Bharati proposes to give weightage to every paper based on the number of citations received by that particular paper. Because a paper with 10 citation cannot be given same weightage to a paper with more than 300 citations. So he is insisting on this particular weightage method. See here, how many papers are available in this particular range? Only one paper is there. In this range is no paper. This range, no paper. What about the number of papers with 24 to 47 citations? Here one paper is there. 24 to 48. 2 papers are there. I have done 2 papers here. Then you multiply 1 into 6, 6. 4 into 0, 0. 3 into 2, 6. You add all these factorial answers. You get 16. 16 is his DH index. A method where you are giving weightage to the citations received by each and every paper by forming a kind of frequency class interval based on the H index of that particular author. This is another variation. Then comes a newest index. Why? Because this index was introduced in a research paper which was published in August 2024 in University News, which is a talk of the town. An author called Prem Virat, he introduced 2 indices. One is P index and other one is V index. Okay. And let us see what are these 2 indices. First is P index. See, so far we have seen many indices. Almost all the indices, they have taken into account only the citations received by the papers which are in the H code. They are not bothered about the citations received by the papers in the H tail. So, Prem Virat is introducing an index called P index. He says P index nothing but the square root of total number of citations received by all the research papers of the scientist. See, whatever papers you published, whatever citations you received, you add all the citations received by all your papers. You just find out the square root of the total citations received by you. That is your P index. A very simple calculation. For example, let me take the case of the author called JS. He has received a total citation of 96,115. The square root of this 96115 is equal to 310. So P index of this particular author is 310. Okay, that is the proposal of Prem Virat. Good, good. Then comes Prem Virat introduced another research index, the same research paper called V index. The formula for calculating V index is equal to, is very simple, total citations divided by average number of authors for all the papers written by that author. Very, very simple. So you know your total citations received by you for all your papers, divided by, you have to find out the average number of authors. How to find out the average number of authors? Very simple. You total all the authors included by you in all your research papers divided by total number of papers written by you. That is called average number of authors. So total citation divided by average number of authors is equal to V index. For example, I'm just giving an example here. I got 7 papers and number of authors I found in each and every paper, number of citations I received for each and every paper. Fine. How many papers totally? 7 papers. How many authors? You add all these count, it comes to 25. So I know number of authors, number of papers. So A is equal to 25 by 7 is equal to 3.57. That is the average number of authors. What is my total citations? You add all the citations, you get 914. So 914 divided by 3.57 and the root of it is 16. So this particular author's V index is 16. H index 6, G index 7, but V index is 16. So these are two indices which were recently introduced in 2024 August by the author Prem. Okay, you can just have a glance at it. Apart from these indices, there are many more indices. For example, there's an index called A index, which was proposed long before by an author called Jin. Very simple. See, whatever citations you received for the papers which are included in the H code, you total all the papers, you divide it by number of papers, you get the average number of citations. That average number of citations received by the publications included in the H code, that is called your A index. For example, I tell you, you are an author, your H index is 20. Okay, fine. And how many citations you receive for these 20 papers? 3,000 citations. Okay. And what's the A index? A index is equal to 3,000 citations divided by this 20. That is equal to 150. 150 is your A index. That is average number of citations received by you for the papers that are included in H code. That is a formula given by Mr. Jin for his A index. Okay, good. Then comes R index and AR index. There are two other indices which were proposed by Jin Bihu a couple of years before. How to calculate R index? Very, very simple. Very simple. R index is nothing but square root of the sum of citations received in the H code. See, whatever citations your papers received in the H code, you find out the square root, that is called R index. For example, you take the case of A. A is the author. He has published 23 papers. For 23 papers, he received 3,060 citations. What about his H index? Is 20, because all his 20 papers have received at least 20 citations. 21st paper has not received 21 citations. So his H index is 20. So to get the H index of 20, how many citations he has received? He has received 3,000 citations, leaving these 60 citations. So 3,000, the square root of 3,000 is 54, and 54 is his R index. So very simple, you can calculate R index of this particular author. Then the same Bihu Jin has introduced another index called AR index, okay, which goes this way. Very simple. You have to find average number of citations, then calculate the total of all the averages, then you calculate the square root of the articles H code, that is called AR index. Fine. Then comes, I'll take 5 more minutes, then you can ask for questions. Square index.
कुछ काम की होती है ना, उसको अटेंड करती हूँ अच्छे से.
Q square index, very simple. See, you have going to have a multiplication of geometrical mean of H index and M index. You calculate H index of an individual, you calculate M index of an individual, you multiply both and you find out the square root. That is called the popular Q square index of a particular author. It's very simple. Okay. Then comes W index, which was proposed by a Chinese long before. Very simple index this is. For example, how to calculate this W index? See, if I say that my W index is 24, it means that 24 into 10, that's 240. That means all my 24 papers have received at least 240 citations each. So my W index is 24. Roughly, you can say whatever H index you get, just multiply by 10 That is called your W index. That means if your W index is 10, it means that 10 into 10, 100. That is, all your 10 papers have received 100 citations. That is called W index, which was proposed by one Chinese author. Good. Then comes K index. It was a very interesting index. Okay. See, I'll tell you very interesting in this particular index, and I'll complete this session. See, K index is calculated not just based on number of citations you have received, but it is based on number of citations received by the papers that cited you. Okay, it's a very interesting concept. For example, I give an example. Is an author called Dr. K. Ganesan, and this particular author has got one paper which was cited by 24 others. That means 24 people have cited this particular author. I just click this to understand who are those 24 people. 24 papers have cited this particular paper. I want to see what are those 24 papers. Just click it. These are the 24 papers. First paper has got 31 citation. Second paper, 27 citation. This way the list goes. Now, I am taking a list of this calculation. First paper, see, very simple. I am calculating K index for an individual research paper written by one author. That particular research paper has got 24 citations. I clicked it. All the 24 papers appear. Now I am checking what is the number of citations received by each and every one of these 24 papers. First paper, 31 citation. Second paper, 27 citation. Third paper, 3 citations. This I have received. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 papers have not received any citations. Now, arrange all these papers in the decreasing order. Then you calculate H index. That is called the K index of this particular author. It's a very, very interesting way how people are looking at the way you can evaluate the research impact of individuals. It's very, very interesting, in fact. Okay. Then comes SQI. You will learn it by yourself. I just leave this. And there's something called ZP index. You can just learn by yourself. Very interesting one. And finally, last one index is Publication Popularity Index. It's called PP Index, which was pronounced by Adrian a couple of years before. This is a very unique way of seeing the research impact of an individual research paper. See, for example, I'll tell you, this is a research paper, this is an author, and this particular research paper is cited by 21 research papers. 21 research papers have cited this particular one research paper. Now, I have found out the list of authors of all the 21 papers. I am going to count the number of unique authors, leaving the repeat counts. If same author is coming again, okay, for example, this author is repeated here, I am not taking. Bold means that author appears only once. When I counted, it comes to 21 authors. That means 21 non-repeating authors have cited this particular research paper. That means this paper is known among 21 non-repeating researchers. So 21 is his publication popularity index. He is popular among these 21 authors who know about this particular paper, who cited this particular paper in their research papers. It's another kind of dimension. So, my dear friends, I want to give it as a conclusion. See, there are many more indices apart from what I have been talking to you for the last 1 hour. But the problem is that Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, PubMed, Dimensions, these are the leading databases. These databases talk about only the so-called H index or item index or G index, but they are not talking about other indices. That is why other indices are not very popular. Maybe as an individual, you may take this particular concept. Maybe you may be the IQAC coordinator, or you may be the academic cell dean or research cell dean. You can discuss about these research indices in depth in your institution. You can formulate a policy on, apart from H index, G index, item index, what other indices can be used for measuring the research impact of individuals of my own college, that you decide whatever you feel will be